Hello, this is my original quiz, and then this is me solving it. I would have done corrections, but this quiz is multiple parts, and my main issue was part A, where I had to make the graph. I messed up the graph, and I wasn't able to do part B, which is my equation, and that resulted in me not being able to do C, D, E, and F and getting no points on them. So I couldn't even correct that. So I just decided to do it all over again. I'm going to correct A and B and then show you how I found C, D, E, and F on this piece of paper. So for A, draw a well-labeled graph that represents the water at the dock since midnight. The since midnight part threw me off because for me it was since midnight, which made me think my starting point was going to be at um, like 12 p.m. or a.m., which would be midnight, when in reality it just wanted me to start at with a positive like sine graph or a negative sine graph at 4.5 because that was the marking in the period. Um, so that's mainly what I got stuck on, and I wasted like 20 minutes on that. It was not able to like go back and look. My original equation was negative 4.5 sine. That part was correct. The negative 4.5 sine. Um, and then inside the sine, it's 15.5 times x minus 12. The minus 12 was because I thought it was midnight, when in reality that should be minus 11, because of 15.5 minus 4.5 equals 11, because I should have left a little mark right here to start the graph at 4.5 instead of 0. Um, and then I added that to 12.5. That part was also correct. Now that we got the x minus 12 out of the way and why I did that, let's look at the 15.5. The 15.5, I looked at the period, which for me, when I originally graphed it, started at 7.25 and went to 15.5. Now, instead of subtracting 2.75 from 7.25, we have 4.5 and start there. I just start at 7.25. Not entirely sure why, the quiz was a while ago. And with that, I subtracted 7, or no, I tried to subtract 7.25 from 15.5, didn't like that, so I just went 15.5 because I was running out of time, and that's as far as I got. Now we can switch over to what I most recently did, which is that this is my new and improved graph, which starts at 4.5, goes around and ends at 26.5, so it's a two-period graph. My equation is y equals negative 4.5 sine 2 pi over 11 times x minus 4.5 plus 12.5. And then the way that I started out by I wrote the equation at the top, which is y equals a sine b times x minus h plus k. And I started out by finding the k, which was the distance between these 2 points, averaged, which is 12.5, right? So I took that 12.5 and I made that k. Then I had to find a, which was the distance between 12.5 and 8, which is 4.5. And I knew it started at low tide, so I made it negative, so that the 7.25, which is when 7.25 is equal to 7:15, like time-wise, the 7:15 was low tide, so I knew I had this point to start with. So um, I started with this point, took that, was able to find the 4.5 when I found the distance between these two, and found out that my marking point was 2.75. So I subtracted 2.75 from 7.25 to get 4.5, and that was my h. Then to find b, I took the period, which was 15.5, and subtracted 4.5 because um, I subtracted 4.5 from 15.5 to get the full distance of the period because 14.5 was my starting point, and that was 11. And then the equation for a period is 2 pi over 2 pi over b. So if I know my b is 11, then if I put 2 pi over it, or no, I know my period is 11, then I can just put 2 pi over to get 2 pi over 11 times x minus 4.5 plus 12. That's my full equation. Now for part C, what was the water level at midnight? That was relatively easy to find. All I did was set, I think I just made the equation, I made x equal 12, I think. That's one way you can do it. Or for me, I just graphed it, right, like I did here, and then went onto the table in my graphing calculator because this part was calculated and included. And I just found where x equals 12 because I was on a scale of 1 for x. I found where x equals 12 and just used that because I found out that 12 was 16.95 feet. And then for part D, after the high tide at 12:45 p.m., what time of day do you think the high tide will take place? That's really easy to see because 12.75 is equal to 12:45. So you just go here, I graph 2 periods, I go over here, I clearly see that that is 23.75, which is 11:45 p.m. For E, what time of day was it when the water was at a height of 13 feet for the first time? That I did the thing where you graph it on the graphing calculator and then you graph y equals 11, or no, y equals 13. You go across, you find the intercept point. My intercept point happened to be 16.95, which is equal to 4:57 p.m. And then for F, which is bonus, I did the same thing I did for E, except I did it twice. So like, for example, on the graph, say I graphed y equals, I believe it wanted 10 feet. Say it was right there, like that. I did intercept on here, 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 and here, and then made these two like the distance that it couldn't be. So I did from 5:31 a.m. to 5:57 a.m. and 4:31 p.m. to 7:57 p.m. And that is how I was able to solve this. Thank you.